Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Kalayim Lo Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim HaKakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Do, of course, rule and teach well. Those are the men I learn the truth from. Honors to the brothers pushing this truth across the four corners with all sincerity. Alright. Tazapanya, check it in with another video. Alright, in the Shabbat, we got the double Shabbat coming in, so you keep it today to tomorrow, and the new moon from tomorrow to Friday Eve. Alright, so double Shabbat. A double Shabbat for Pesach last week. Then we have double Shabbat this week, so you have to keep it. Okay. We're just gonna get into the topic of reincarnation because with these Christians and these different people out here in the world, man, their notion of death and how things work is completely off, man. Right? They think that reincarnation doesn't exist. Right? So we're just gonna get into it. Of course, there's a little bit more nuance when you speak on, Lord won't be at that number, the hopeful elect. Right? There's a little more nuance, but we'll just kind of get into it here and there. All right. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and maybe want to start a little ahead. It's Daniel, chapter 12 and 13. You'll start there. That's the point. But go thou thy way to the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. All right. So not just Daniel, everyone is going to be in their lot. All right. So if you're a prophet back then, you're going to be a prophet now. All right. So every man stands in his lot, man. You know what I mean? If you were 2/3 back then, you're 2/3 now. Right? If you're Edomite back then, you just need a mite, man. Right? You know what I mean? So yeah. And it's another one. Malachi 4 and 5. Behold, I'll send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So yeah. So Elijah came back as John the Baptist, and then came back as Abba Bivens if you have the spirit to receive it. Right? So you know what I mean? That's pretty much what happened. Through Abba Bivens. Actually is coming, that's how we know. We in these end days, us getting back, our skin. Like it says in Ezekiel 37, us getting that spiritual life back, us learning who we are. So Hosea 1 and 10, where it said that you're not the people, there shall be said that you are the people. Also Amos was it 9 and 10 goes into that as well. The tabernacle of David being built back up, and then the breaches thereof being sealed between the northern and the southern kingdom. Because we're both once you join this truth, man, that enmity, right, all through the Kakwadash, all through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, of course, right? All the enmity between the northern and the southern kingdom ends, man. And there's none of that infighting, with the northern kingdom. Some of them they think that they better than than the southern kingdom because they come out a little bit lighter. And the northern southern kingdom, be hating on northern kingdom and shit. Be calling them names and shit. So on and so forth. All that kind of madness that goes on, man. Alright, out there, the Kakodash, man, that stuff, it doesn't come in the truth, man. Alright, because then today, we know that we all here, on the same side, for the same goal, man. Alright, for salvation. Alright. You know what I mean? We all speak the same thing. You can watch, one brother speak on a topic, and you hear another brother speak on the exact same topic. It'll be different, but you know, they'll be saying the same thing, just in different ways. You know, um, like there's no doctrine differences. Right. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16 and 17. Woe is me, woe is me. Actually, yeah, I'll actually go start here. Woe is me, who would deliver me in those days. Right, talk about Chica's trouble. Right, and Ezra's being shown all these things by the Archangel Uriel. You know, different visions of, you know, the famines, Jacob's trouble, martial law, you know, all hell breaking loose. He's like, woe is me, what am I going to do in those times? Because he knew it was going to be in those times that he would just reincarnate. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, the power and fear, the beginning evils, which I do when these evils shall come. Right? Yeah. You know, we see in these things, beginning of sorrows, you know, wars, different fighting, right? These elites standing in fear, right? Because it's going to get to a point where they can't control it, man. Right? You see? What should I do when these evils shall come, man? Right? And, you know, if Ezra is, around, right? You know, he's seeing these things. It could be, you know, brother in the truth. You know what I mean? He's seeing these things, man. Right? And he knows, right? He knows you just gotta have that faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And, you know, just pray and hope that, Lord willing, you be saved, man. Right? So on and so forth. Make that call in an election sure. Alright? So, yeah, Ezra knew he was going to be in that time. Because he knew it was a time that was, that the current life he was living was going to come to an end, and that he would be reborn, you know, through many lives, and would then, you know, come back and behold those times. Right? So, you know, that's what happened. Right? It just goes to show you that reincarnation is very much real. Right? It's another one. One I like to always get into this one. Yeah, this is the book of Second Ezra chapter 4, and yeah, yeah. We'll start here. Second Ezra 4 verse 33. The answer I said, how when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are years few and evil. You know, like why are people go through this? Why are people in this lower state? Alright? You know what I mean? When these happened, shall Ezra 2 come to pass? Alright? He answered me and said, where did I write that? Let me see. Let me see what happens in Ezra 2. Father, sure. So broken a week. Oh yeah. Talking about yep. I know it's in Ezra 2. The elect getting crowned. Yeah. Yahushua crowning the elect. Yeah. I had to remind myself what was in Second Ezra 2. But yeah, that's in Second Ezra 2. Alright. Yahushua, that man of great stature. So I think we were at oh dude. Nah, it's not all the way up here. Give me a second. Oh wait. Yeah, here we are. So Second Ezra chapter 4 and you know, 34. And to be said, do not thou hasten above the most highest, for thy haste is in vain to be above him. Thou must succeeded. Right? Because there's a certain measurement for things for us to know. Right? Ezra was doing it in a righteous sense. He just wanted to know. Right? But you know, I mean, there's a certain things you can't certain levels we can't reach, you know. That's pretty much it, you know. So yeah, don't be overly impatient. Yeah, don't bug yourself out. Now the souls of the righteous ask question these things in their chambers, saying, "How long shall hope on this fashion when coming through the floor of our reward?" Yeah, you know what I mean? Like others apostles on down be talking about, man. Like they continually, you know, pray for this place to go down, man. You know, they continually hope. Right? I said elders apostles on down, man. Continually praying, continually hoping that this place goes down. All right, man. Um, yeah, that's what the soul of righteous be doing. You know, when is this gonna come? That's why we watching the news, looking at prophecies, right? And at the same time, we're also looking at these other camps as well, you know, and due spirit. You know, we seen that these guys, yeah, they dropping the ball. You know, they're getting exposed out here. You know, all these times they were spending time making fun of us. And when shit's really coming down to the wire, they can't explain nothing. They don't know what the MOTB is, or they know, but they just not telling it to the people. And maybe it's out of pride, they don't admit that what they said was wrong, right? Or they just going off, you know? And to these things, Uriel, Archangel, gave them answer and said, even when an embassy is filled anew, you have weighed the world in the balance. Right? So yeah, there's a certain, you know, amount of seeds that's filled anew. Right? So amount of times you gotta come into earth, right? Sometimes you gotta reincarnate. Right? So see here, based on the job is done, this one is the last life you live. Right? So this life here that you're living right now, Babylon the Great, this is gonna be your last life. If you be with the elect, and Lord will be the hopeful elect, you know, of course, this is gonna be your last life. Alright. After this, you know what I mean, if you do die on this side, you know, you just be reborn in the new body. But we're not gonna die here and then reincarnate again, you know, in America. Like as like just in the same position. Alright. If you as I said, if you get martyred on this side, you'll just reincarnate on a new body. Alright. And I mean I said during Jacob's trouble. But I mean brothers that pass on this side, you know, they're already, you know, in the spiritual world. They're just waiting for that time to come, then you know they'll be already on the fathership with their new body. Alright. But like I said, this is like your last life pretty much. You know. The 2/3, they're gonna die on this side. And you know, they're just gonna come back in the kingdom in a new body. So really all Israel is gonna be saved. All Israel will receive a new body. It's just that some are gonna have to learn through death by pain to get right on the other side. Right? And some, you know, the will elect, right, will have repented, and the Lord, you know, will have blessed them and, you know, have mercy on them and give them the new body. And then they'll be, you know, perfect harmony with the mind of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Alright. So yeah. Alright. So it's another one that proves that, you know, reincarnation is real. Because like it says Elijah's for it to come, different precepts like that. It just proves, you know, that you reincarnate. Alright. There's no like, you know, just like die once and then that's it. Alright. Let's see. I think we could just do like one more. Let's see, one more. Yeah. Let me see here. Revelation 11 and 13. Let me see here. Just talk about the Edomites. Yeah, the Romans. Yeah. Alright. For the day of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence. Talk about the people and the violent take it by force, right? The Romans. Yeah. Let's see here. The violent take it by force. What is it? What did it link up to? Yeah, the kingdom of the Most High is within you, right? Luke 17:21. Neither say they, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Yeah. All right, the kingdom of heaven is us. All right, it starts with us. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John, which you received as Elias, which was for to come. Yeah, I was thinking of this one, but yeah, that one goes back to Malachi, what we read earlier. All right, so I mean, reincarnation is very much a thing. Right? It's not a made up, um, you know, thing. Right? Just the idea that you reincarnate as like a bug, like a roach. You reincarnate as like a, if you're a man in one life, you reincarnate as a woman in the next life. Nah, that's off. If you're a man, you're gonna be a man. If you're a prophet, you're gonna be a prophet, and so on and so forth. Let that be that. No need to fight. This is Shalom.